Arthur No Fee Fitness here. Today let's talk about the one thing that quietly kills your gains even when your effort is sky high. I'm talking about doing more than your body can actually recover from. Call it overtraining, call it under-recovery, call it redlining your system week after week. Whatever name you give it, the story is the same. Performance stalls, motivation wobbles, little aches start voting against you, and the physique in the mirror stops changing. The solution isn't quitting. The solution is understanding what's really going on inside your body and taking back control. Here's the first truth most people miss. There isn't a single lab test that says you are officially overtrained. What we see in real life is a spectrum. On one end, you have functional overreaching, where you push hard for a short block, feel run down, then bounce back and get better. Keep pushing without enough food, sleep, and stress management, and you slide into non-functional overreaching. Stay there long enough and you risk full overtraining syndrome, which is rare but nasty and can take months to recover from. Coaches and sports doctors have been trying to pin this down for decades, and the consensus is clear. No magic biomarker tells the whole story, so we pay attention to performance trends, mood, sleep, and context. Now let's translate that into gym language. You know that soreness that hangs around long after it should have left the chat. If your legs are still tender 3 or 4 days after a normal session and every step feels like it belongs in a sore quads meme, that is your recovery budget saying it is overdrawn. Lingering soreness by itself doesn't diagnose anything, but paired with shrinking numbers on the bar, slower bar speed, and that heavy feeling during warm-ups, it is a red flag. The smart move is to deload before your body makes that choice for you. Reviews on athlete monitoring keep pointing to the same idea. A slow bleed in performance with mounting fatigue matters more than any single snapshot. Sleep is the multiplier. Cut it and everything else gets worse. When athletes restrict sleep, explosive power and speed suffer, reaction time slows, and injury risk climbs. Sleep loss also drives up perceived effort, so even easy work feels harder than it should. Fixing sleep is not glamorous, but it is the fastest recovery lever you have. Multiple reviews in the last couple of years back that up with hard data. Underfueling is the silent partner of overtraining, and it is far more common than people think. If you ramp volume and intensity but don't ramp calories, especially carbs, you drift into low energy availability. The International Olympic Committee updated its RED-S guidance with a clinical tool for spotting this state because it wrecks performance, hormones, bone health, and recovery across both men and women. If you are leaning out, lifting heavy, adding conditioning, and living on caffeine, you are exactly the person who needs to hear this. Fuel hard training or training will punish you. Let's talk hormones because social media loves to oversell them. Testosterone to cortisol ratios jump around with training and stress and are not reliable on their own. What we do see in real cases of true overtraining is a blunted hormonal response to a stress test. Think growth hormone and other stress axis hormones not rising the way they should. That is different from your daily gym swing. It is a sign your whole system is tired of being poked. The big picture takeaway is simple. Hormone panels can add context, but they are not a standalone overtraining detector. Performance and how you feel still lead the diagnosis. Mood and motivation might be the earliest warning lights you ever get. If you find yourself irritable for no reason, flat during sessions, anxious about simple sets, or unable to switch off at night, that is your nervous system complaining. Decades of athlete monitoring put mood questionnaires and simple daily check-ins at the top of the list because they consistently change before performance collapses. Write down how you slept, your soreness, your desire to train, and your overall stress. Keep it honest, and you will see patterns long before your total drops. What about your heart data? Two things actually help in the real world: resting heart rate in the morning and heart rate variability over time. If your resting heart rate runs several beats higher than your normal for a few mornings, something is off. If your HRV trends down for days while you feel flat, you probably need to back off. The nuance here matters. HRV is sensitive to protocols, timing, alcohol, and stress. So you track it the same time each morning and you look at the trend, not one number. Recent reviews in team and strength sports are positive about HRV as a readiness tool when you use it this way. Injury risk is where all this gets expensive. Overuse injuries climb when training load spikes too fast or stays monotonously high. You may have heard of the acute to chronic workload ratio. Some studies link sudden spikes to higher risk, while other analyses argue the math behind that ratio is shaky and that looking at acute and chronic loads separately works better. The point for you is practical. Keep progression steady, avoid sudden jumps in volume or intensity, and rotate stressors so the same tissues are not hammered in the same way every week. Immune health adds another layer. The old story said hard training crushes your immune system. The updated story is more nuanced. Regular training supports immunity, but prolonged heavy blocks, poor sleep, altitude camps, and underfueling can tilt the odds toward more colds for a week or two after big efforts or races. Marathon data and team sport studies continue to show a bump in respiratory illness risk around heavy loads, especially when stress outside training is high. If you are always fighting a sore throat after peaking weeks, that is a recovery problem, not a personality trait. So how do you actually navigate this? Start with a simple rule. Progress is what you can recover from consistently. If numbers are fading across 2 or 3 weeks, if your sleep is broken, if your desire to train feels forced, if your morning heart rate is creeping up and your HRV is sliding down, you are not being hardcore by grinding. You are wasting reps. Pull 20 to 30% off total weekly work, keep the quality, and put that saved energy into sleep and food for 7 to 10 days. Most lifters bounce back fast when they do this early. Leave it late and the comeback takes longer. That is not bro theory. It mirrors how coaches handle non-functional overreaching before it gets ugly. Fuel like performance matters. If you are stacking heavy lifting with conditioning, daily carbs are your friend, not your enemy. Hit protein targets, push carbs around your training, and do not fear salt and fluids when you sweat hard. The IOC guidance on low energy availability is blunt about this. Underfueling is a performance limiter and a health risk, and it is absolutely preventable. If your menstrual cycle goes irregular, if your libido tanks, if you are losing weight you did not plan to lose, those are stop signs. Set up your week so hard days feel hard and easy days are actually easy. Cluster stress so recovery can do its job. Rotate heavy compound work with technical practice, accessories, and conditioning instead of smashing everything every day. Keep a short training diary. You are not writing a novel. 1 line on sleep, 1 on mood, 1 on soreness, 1 on the main lift performance, and 1 on morning heart data if you track it. The pattern over time is the coach you wish you had. Remember why you train. Discipline is not mindlessly pushing through warning signs. Discipline is making the call that keeps you progressing for the next 6 months, not just the next 6 days. If today's best move is pulling volume and going to bed early, do it. If the smartest play is swapping your session for a long walk and a full dinner, do that and come back hungry tomorrow. Here's the bottom line. Overtraining is not a badge of honor. It is bad planning and weak recovery dressed up as grind culture. The lifters who win are the ones who can train hard, recover harder, and repeat that cycle for years. Audit your sleep. Eat like your training deserves it. Track the simple signals. Adjust before your body forces you. That's how you keep stacking plates and adding pages to your training story without burning the whole book.